Today on the USA News from Jerusalem, Iran launches what it's calling its first ever Doomsday Missiles in response to recent US-Israel attacks. Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, welcome to the USA News. We've got a major update for you today in our ongoing saga of the war between Israel and Hamas. In case you missed it yesterday, we had yet another major escalation. And if you thought that perhaps this whole thing was going to de-escalate after that 3-day ceasefire, think again, because we've had two significant events over the past 24 hours or so, which took us from the frying pan into the fire once again. Number one, an Israeli airstrike against the Damascus International Airport killed at least 4 Syrian soldiers. Now that followed hot on the heels of an October 7th strike, which also targeted Damascus International Airport and killed at least 9 people, including 5 Syrian soldiers and 4 pro-Iran militiamen. Now, since that last attack on October 7th, Iran vowed revenge. It said through a spokesman for the Iranian Foreign Ministry that they would respond soon. So that was certainly looming. Secondly, late yesterday afternoon, Israeli fighter jets reportedly carried out strikes on a car wash facility just south of the city of Aleppo. Now, this was apparently a site where Iran and Hezbollah were manufacturing precision-guided munitions, PGMs for short. These are missiles that can be used by Hamas, Hezbollah, Iraqi Shiite militias, and other Iranian proxies across the region to target Israel with great accuracy. The PGMs have been a red line for Israel throughout this entire conflict because they could eventually be used to target not only Israeli military bases, but also Israeli cities. They're called precision-guided for a reason. Now, we don't know if anyone was killed or injured in these latest strikes, but Iran is vowing revenge, saying that this was an act of aggression on the part of the Zionist entity against Syria, and they will respond shortly. And boy, did they ever respond. Let's break down the Iranian missile barrage, which went down earlier this morning in Syria. Now we received word that some 15 missiles were fired from Syria overnight into Israel. Some reports are saying 16, some are saying 15, but the bottom line is that these are the first Iranian missiles to be launched during this war. Remember, Iran has stayed on the sidelines so far? That may change now. These missiles were launched from the massive mountains in northwestern Syria. That is an area which is heavily controlled by Iran and its proxies, chief among them Hezbollah. Now, according to the Israel Defense Forces, 4 of those missiles were shot down over the Golan Heights. 4 more impacted in the Mediterranean Sea. 1 landed in a field in northern Israel, and another exploded over the city of Aleppo. Now, it seems like the bulk of these missiles targeted northern Israel, and many of them fell in open areas, but not all. 1 reportedly landed in the vicinity of a school, did not hit the school itself, but needless to say, this is very dangerous and outrageous behavior by the Iranian regime. And secondly, folks, we've seen this before. This happened back in May 2021 when there was a war between Israel and Hamas, and Iran, again, through its proxies, fired missiles into southern Israel. Back then, Israel responded by striking the source of those attacks in Syria, and it's very possible that that will happen again here. We shall see. What's interesting about these missiles is that they appear to be brand new. They are not the typical shorter-range missiles that we've seen Iran and its proxies fire into Israel over the past few years. These are longer-range missiles. They were likely designed and manufactured in Iran, and they traveled deep into Israeli territory. And the only conclusion we can draw from this is that Iran has long-range plans for these missiles. We know that they are devising new strategies, not just Iran, but Hezbollah, and other Iranian proxies as well. You combine that with the fact that Iran is now reportedly shipping advanced weapons, including precision-guided munitions directly to Gaza through the tunnels under the Mediterranean, and you can see that things are ramping up here. Folks, we've been calling this a low-intensity war for a reason. Even though you have had at least 700 Israelis murdered in cold blood by Hamas and countless more wounded, even though the economy of Israel is in the toilet right now, inflation soaring hundreds of billions of dollars in damages, thousands of hostages taken by Hamas, tens of thousands of rockets fired into Israeli cities. Even though all of that has happened, we've had 4 separate ceasefires. That tells you that Israel is holding back. They are trying to limit the amount of casualties on both sides. They want to minimize civilian casualties on the Palestinian side, as well as obviously saving the lives of their own soldiers and their own civilians. That's why we've had 4 ceasefires during this war. That's why Israel has not gone all in and ground and pounded Hamas in Gaza. They are trying to achieve their objectives while minimizing casualties. What Iran is doing with these doomsday missiles, as they're being called, is completely unacceptable. There's no justification for firing 15 missiles at Israel in the middle of the night. This could have caused massive casualties. Thank God it didn't. But here's the big question and the takeaway for today. Could this be a sign of things to come? Will Iran ramp up its involvement? Will it become increasingly emboldened? Will we see longer-range missiles fired? Perhaps ballistic missiles manufactured in Iran itself? Will Iran start targeting Israel directly? I know we have said many times here in the newscast that when Iran enters the fray, when the ring of fire around Israel, which includes Hamas, Hezbollah, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the Houthis in Yemen, and various militias in Syria and Iraq, when they all enter the fray, when that ring of fire envelops Israel, it will become much more difficult for Israel to defend itself. We've said that Iran is the ultimate red line for Israel. If Iran becomes involved in this conflict, it will be a completely different ballgame. We'll have a full-blown regional war on our hands. And while Israel can certainly take care of business against Hamas and Hezbollah, Iran is a different animal entirely. Folks, look at what's happening in Ukraine right now. Russia is raining down missiles on Ukraine. This is beyond anything we've seen during that conflict. Hundreds of missiles fired into Ukraine over the past few days alone. Many of them have been shot down, but many have hit their marks, causing massive damage and killing hundreds of Ukrainian civilians. That's what Iran could do to Israel, not to mention the ballistic missiles and the attack drones that Iran could deploy. Here's the good news. God Almighty still sits on the throne. He is in control. As you know, here on the newscast, we take a strong stand against the godless Iranian regime, and the book of Psalms says that the nations will come and shoot their arrows against Jerusalem. But the Lord will be her very great king in the days of old. He will save her. He will turn the taunting nations around and utterly destroy them. So God still sits on the throne. He will protect his land and his people. Israel will ultimately prevail in this day and age. But it will not be pretty. There will be casualties on the Israeli side. Thankfully, it does not look like any Israelis were killed or seriously injured due to the Iranian missile barrage this morning. But things could get much worse. Before you go, I just want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time new video is posted. And folks, if you've already done that, thanks so much. Just make sure you're clicking the notification bell as well. Till next time, thanks so much for joining us here today. God bless you, and remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the USA News. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload. Tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. And don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you back here tomorrow.